Hey y'all, I thought I would share something a little bit unique with everyone in case this is something that you might be able to use for yourself or modify to use for yourself, and that is my daily pain log. Now I have this set up obviously for pain, but I think that you could apply it to anything that you would want to track throughout the day. See any little changes here and there on something that you're trying to keep up with. Not necessarily a habit tracker or anything like that, where you would just mark off certain things, but this is something that you can track throughout the entire day. And for me, that's pain. For you, that could be something like any glucose spikes, or maybe your blood pressure, or if you've got taken some sort of supplements, seeing how that affects certain targets that you're trying to hit. I have a scale of 1 to 10, 1 being the least amount of pain, 10 being pretty significant. And so I'm trying to see if medication is helping with that. I'm also seeing, if pain's getting a little too high, then I probably need to let my doctors know about that. But just something that you're tracking throughout the day, because when I was looking online and on YouTube here, I wasn't seeing a whole lot of daily spreads of tracking that. And it's not really a habit tracker, but I see plenty of monthly trackers, monthly even dot grids that you can kind of track your progress through the entire month. But I didn't really see anything for during the day. And so that's what I wanted to share with you. This is a look at how I do that. Now, if you could see this, this is just a 2 day spread here. So this is one day, and then this is a second day. And this is just an example, and I'll just go over some of the things here on how I set that up, because it is a little bit unique. It's not really anything that I saw. I just sort of experimented and kept sort of evolving. As you can see, like some of these earlier ones are a little bit different, and then like really different back here. But so I'll go over what each thing is, and then we'll get a blank sheet back here and start a new one. So what I do, so this is one day here, is I'll go ahead and get the date going. For this, I've got a stamp, but here lately I've just been writing that in. But if there's a stamp nearby, maybe I'll stamp that. But anyway, so the thing that you want to track, so I've got pain here. And like I said, you may want to track glucose spikes or blood pressure, something like that. And you're taking something, or you're doing walks that you want to see if it's affecting anything. And you can collect quite a bit of data, different data points with this system as well. So the circled numbers here are going to represent pain level. And like I said, I do that from a 1 to 10, 1 being the least amount of pain, 10 being a lot of pain. So after writing your tracking subject here, I'll go ahead and write out the hour. So I've got a 24-hour spread here, so that's going to be from 12 to 12 to 12. So I start with 12 midnight here. So for this particular day, I was up at midnight. So at 12:20 a.m., and then I've got the time in parentheses there. Let's see, maybe it'd be easier to point with the pin here. And how much pain meds I was taking, any sort of notes that was happening. For the diagnosis that I have, tracking pain is very important for me. And so I also have little notes on what kind of pain I was experiencing. So what I do is, if I'm feeling pain, I'll go ahead and write that over here. And so it was pretty good. It was a 5 here. So I took some pain medication. And with the arrows, that's representing where that pain is going from that particular dose. So I'm still up, and this 5 after taking this went down to a 1. So that was great. That was really, really nice. Then I was able to go to sleep. And usually when I have these long lines here, that's really probably when I'm sleeping or out doing something that really not having any sort of pain at all. So slept for some good hours here. Woke up between 7 and 8, and finally was like, around 7:52 a.m. I took another dose there. I was having some swells, and it was pretty significant. It got up to a 7 there, and so that stayed that way for a little bit. And so I've got here on the side, on the left side here. I'm sorry, I think I said the right side, but this is the left side. A 7 here, and so that was our starting point. And it didn't immediately fall from that. I don't know if I got up and did some activities because it's kind of blank here, but it went down to a 2, so that was good. So medicine, maybe not right off the bat worked, but getting up, moving around helped loosen me up and got that pain down to a 2. So then that 2 went to a 4, and I documented that at 12:57 p.m. Took another dose, and I'm also tracking over here in my daily to-do notebook when I do take pain medication, because you do want to make sure that you're keeping track of that so that you don't accidentally overtake anything, because that's when you can get yourself into some trouble. But I do keep a very detailed account for that over there in that notebook. But anyways, took another dose, have a little note here in the middle of abdomen was hurting too. So that 4, when I took that, a drop to a 1. So as we can see, medicine is still working pretty good. So that's a good thing. Now I have these lines drawn here because between 4 and 5, I have a line drawn through there. Sorry, you see here is where that 1, it stopped. It stopped being a 1. But I don't know, maybe we weren't able to take another one, or it just wasn't that significant. But all of a sudden, it can sometimes just start happening. And so that's why over here on the right, or I'm sorry, the left over here, a 5. So this is our starting point, and that got up to a 5, so ready for another dose. Went down to a 3 after taking that pain medicine, and again went down, stopped around 9 o'clock. Probably couldn't take anything. Yes, couldn't take anything then, but was still monitoring it. So at the start of that next dose, it was a 4.5. This pill went down to a 2 and then went to bed. Pain got better. See, you have just little notes here to the side. And basically that's how it is. So the arrows, again, we've got our starting point here on the left, and then what that medicine did. So if you were doing something, let's see, if you were taking, or if you wanted to track, your glucose, like you could put a score here, and maybe how you feel. I don't know what that looks like, but it's just something that came to mind if you wanted to track during the day or each meal. And then maybe you're taking a shot of apple cider vinegar before your meals, so you could track what your glucose is, take your shot, and then after you eat, write down what you eat, and then you can see what it dropped to or what it stayed at throughout the day. That's something I thought maybe you could do, or any sort of supplements if you're having, I don't know, headaches, migraines, something that lasts, throughout the day. Energy, if you're taking some sort of supplements for energy, you could track your energy level, or when you took this, or walking, if you're experiencing something, if you go out and walk, if you go out and meditate, just something that you wanted to track during the day and see what the thing is that you're doing. In my case, it's the pain meds, but I'm also I'm also just tracking my pain throughout the day and what that looks like, because that's important for me to let my doctor know what kind of pain I'm having. But anyways, so let's go up and ahead and set up another one here that's blank so you can see how I do that. So like I said, the first thing, I've already got today's date on here, and then the thing that I'm tracking, and that's pain. And so I'm going to go ahead and set up the hours here. And if you wanted to do this in military time, works perfectly fine that way. I'm just used to doing standard hours here. Okay, so there you go. So I can look back over here to see when I took, so last night I went to sleep, so I don't really have much over here to track. So I'm just gonna go, I think I went to bed probably at a 3. And then the next time that I took something was at 4:12 this morning. So then I'll put the time in there like this. And then I always put how much I took and any sort of note. So I was still sleeping, so maybe I got up, I think I got up, had pain, walked around. And I sort of do that to just kind of gauge like how it's feeling. Is it just from stiffness, or is it kind of lingering as I'm walking around? Or maybe you get up to go to the restroom, just any sort of little notes that's happening here. And so I think that probably got up to probably around a 6. And so we took some medicine there, and then I remember being up. So, and I usually do this right as it's happening, but I wanted to do this a little bit later so that y'all could see how this works in real time. So that 6, I really think it kind of stayed up a little bit. So that 6 went down to a 3, and then I went back to sleep till around 8. So I want to say that just, and it's fine if I wasn't awake to know what the pain was, because I'm sure it went down if I stayed asleep. Usually if I stay asleep, then the pain meds are working. So I'm just going to assume that that was working. But at 8:40, I was able to take another one, because I can take these every 4 hours. And so I did then. And I'm going to say this starting point, we're probably at a 5. So that, I do remember, because this is when I got up. So I was able to get up and start the day. So let's go ahead and put a 2 there. And then, let's see, I also want to say got up for the day. And then I also might do a little note here that I was asleep and sleep. Been doing that here lately. All right, so that is pretty much caught up where we are. So right now it's about 10. So we're still good. I'm still good at about a 2. So that's kind of how it works out, where you can track how the meds are working. And what's cool about this is that you can you can collect a few different data points here. You can see if in fact your meds are working. You can see what times of the day you're having, more or less pain in my case. You can also see maybe what activities, if any, are causing to have more or less pain. If when you first wake up, maybe you're a little stiff, so some soreness, some pain is to be expected. And maybe, in the middle of the day, you don't have as much. If right after a meal contributes to anything like that. Does the meal having a meal or not having a meal affect the pain meds or any supplements that you're taking? So you can collect quite a few different data points with this, and then what you can do at the end of the month, like I do, is I'll go and I will highlight any of the levels that get above a 5. So this day we had some 7s there. This day, not so bad. 2, looks like we were good on this one. We didn't have anything above a 4 early in the morning there. And so you can kind of see what's happening. And anyways, I just wanted to share this with all of you because, like I said, I thought it might be something that you can use. It doesn't have to necessarily be about pain, but something that you'd want to track during the day. And I just couldn't find anything really online or any videos that showed something that you could really track through the day. Plenty of monthly spreads, plenty of habit trackers and marking off things, but actually tracking the progress of something and then seeing how it is being affected each hour. And so I thought I would share that with everybody. And if it's something that you can use, then great. If it's something that you think you might be able to use but tweak a little bit, I think that's awesome. If so, let me know in the comments. I'd love to hear any of your ideas that you can expand on this system. That'd be amazing. But all right, friends, thank you so much. If you did make it this far, maybe you'll go ahead and hit that subscribe button. It's totally free to do that. It helps the channel grow. So if you have any suggestions on videos, I'd love to hear those as well. And I guess that's about it. So if this was a video that you got something out of, if you could hit that thumbs up, and I will see you all on the next one. Thanks, friends.